So this last weekend, we saw Matt Hardy return to TNA, and he returned in a really interesting way. He returned as Broken Matt Hardy. After Moose defeated Nick Nemeth to retain the TNA World Championship at the end of their match, Matt Hardy came in and he took out Moose. And returning as Broken Matt Hardy, I think, is really interesting because it is definitely his most fun character, his most engaging character, especially considering what's happened with him as of late in AEW. He has said that he's a free agent, that he is not in a rush to sign to any one company, but I would argue he should sign to WWE, and here's why. There have been rumblings about some potential people being signed to WWE here very soon. One of them is Eric Rowan. Obviously, Braun Strowman is on his way back to being active in active competition on WWE television. And then Bo Dallas was Uncle Howdy. And we just released this Bray Wyatt documentary that I think was really powerful. And obviously everybody misses Bray. But there have been rumblings around kind of reactivating the storyline of Bray Wyatt with Uncle Howdy and potentially a faction, which I think could still be the Wyatt Six. But here's who I would put into the Wyatt Six family now that Bray Wyatt is no longer with us, but they're going to have Bo Dallas potentially continue the story as Uncle Howdy. So obviously, number one, Uncle Howdy as the leader. I think it's only right, and I think that it can kind of be a split personality situation, very similar to The Fiend and Bray Wyatt with Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy. I think that even if you wanted to go the route of The Fiend being Bo Dallas, like that he's just been inherited by the spirit of The Fiend, that would be really cool too. And I think it's homage to his brother, which Bo Dallas would love to do, but I think he also loves his brother so much that he would want to respect the memory that we have of The Fiend and probably stay as his own character. So Uncle Howdy to be the leader makes the most sense in my mind. Next up, I would have Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman join because obviously they are two of the four pillars of the original Wyatt family. But also in addition to that, in real life, they were just so close. They're brothers. Obviously, Luke Harper, Brody Lee, is no longer with us either. And so in a way to be respectful to the memory of the Wyatt family, it is appropriate, in my estimation, to include Eric Rowan, to include Braun Strowman as like the next two people who are part of this Wyatt Six family, because it also legitimizes the fact that this is a Wyatt family. These are his family members who are coming around to keep the memory of Bray Wyatt, to keep the memory of their friend, of their brother alive. And I think that you could have them in singles roles. They don't necessarily need to be a tag team. I actually have a pick for a tag team. I think you let them run as singles stars, or you can have them kind of be heavies for Uncle Howdy to start until we kind of flesh out the story for a few months. In the female role, I think it's very obvious. Just bring back Alexa Bliss in the manager / female wrestler role. She was very close with Bray, especially towards the end of his time as The Fiend. And also she's very close to Braun and has been for many, many years. So there's a lot of just natural chemistry between all of these individuals as characters and just as people. So bring her in. I think the other one that you could tease with is Liv Morgan, especially if we work down the route of Liv Morgan having just injured Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan wins the women's championship. And then when Rhea returns, it's faction warfare between the Wyatt Six family and the Judgment Day. And that would be very interesting. But Alexa Bliss is the more natural fit because she already has a built-in storyline to being in that role. The last piece of this puzzle is the Hardys. With Matt now being kind of a free agent, I think it makes the most sense to bring him in because he also has a naturally built-in storyline, having been associated with Bray Wyatt, them having won tag team titles in WWE as the leaders of worlds. And also just because Matt and Jeff, they always seem to shine and do the best work together in WWE. Now, don't get me wrong, Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero were incredible in TNA. And I think if you want to look at like singles action and singles work, Matt Hardy's work is the best work of his career in TNA. So if they're going to keep him TNA, I think that's fine. But I'd love to see this team be rounded out by some wacky characters and characters that make sense, that they already have a direct tie to Bray Wyatt, but also can engage the fans in a way that don't just make them guys that fill out the numbers, like a team that we really get invested in. And the Hardys finishing their career in WWE, especially under Papa H, under Hunter, makes a lot of sense. And they could work storylines that favor their style. They could work matches that favor their style and protect Jeff's health, that they don't need to do all these crazy things. It's a lot more of a safer work environment than AEW. Not to say that they never have injuries, because everywhere it does, but you're going to have a place where they don't get lost in the shuffle, because right now the Hardys, they're not doing anything in AEW. That's why Matt left. And I think Jeff needs to leave as well, and ask, to come back to WWE. And I think it would be a great pivot for them at this point in their career, and also put them in a really interesting, fun storyline to finish out their run in the wrestling world. So there you go, guys. Bo Dallas, a.k.a. Uncle Howdy, a.k.a. maybe The Fiend, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, maybe have Eric Rowan as, the white sheep and Braun Strowman as the black sheep. Alexa Bliss, Lily, hopefully not the doll, but Sister Abigail, right? And the Hardys, Broken Matt and Brother Nero, maybe even Willow. That team, that whole faction would be epic and would be amazing to watch them feud with the likes of the Judgment Day on Raw. And I think it's something fresh and new and fun, and creates something that'd be really engaging with the Bloodline storyline, kind of pivoting at this moment and having some bigger stars off TV. This is the time to insert these characters in post the draft and just have them run like crazy on Monday Night Raw, especially with 3 hours of content to fill. This would be the route to go. And then you can get more crazy once we get on Netflix with some of the more like disturbing elements of the Wyatt Six family, which would be really interesting. So let me know down in the comments below. Would you like to see something like that? Would you agree with all the members of that group, or would you pivot to somebody else? Would you recommend somebody else? Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 2,200 subscribers by the end of April, and I will see you very soon.